Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock, it's time for another video, and today I got organised. I've got notes. And the reason I've got notes is because I'm going to be talking about a very important subject. I'm going to be talking today about working a gig, actually working a gig. Now I'm specifically going to be talking about working a corporate strolling gig. Why am I doing this? Well, the reason is, on the Q&A, I get lots of questions all the time about how do I work this type of gig? How do I work this type of gig? What should I do when I get to the gig? What should I do when I finish the gig? And you know what? There's more to performing at a show. There's more to performing at a booking than just knowing what tricks to perform. And I've got lots of videos about which tricks to do and which tricks you shouldn't do and how to do an opener and how to construct an act. And I'll be doing more of those on Magic TV. I love making videos like that. But I wanted to make a series of videos about the real secrets behind performing at particular types of gigs. I want to talk about, performing at a private party, performing at a wedding, performing at a stage show, performing at a kid show, performing at an illusion show, all the different things that you need to kind of think about. And so I thought I'd start, because a lot of people do corporates, a lot of people do strolling or walk around gigs. I thought I'd start with the real secrets to working a corporate strolling gig. We'll talk about a gig that maybe has got 100 people and you're there for sort of 90 minutes to 120 minutes. You're there for an hour and a half to 2 hours. What do you do both before the gig and after the gig? So this is not a big table gig. This is not a banquet gig. This is not a stage gig. It's literally you walking around. So there's people there at the gig. There's a bar. Everyone's chatting. Everyone's informal. It's an informal strolling gig, but it's a corporate event. So there's maybe it's organised by a company or whatever the case may be. And I want to talk about the real secrets behind that gig and what you should do from getting the booking to working the gig, to leaving at the end of the gig, all those different things that sometimes we don't talk about. Now, like I say, I'm not going to talk about the tricks you should do. I'm not going to talk about how to approach groups. I'm not going to talk about how to get people's details when you're talking to them. I'm not going to talk about how to generate more work. I'm not going to talk what a closer should be or what an opener should be. These are the real secrets behind actually making sure that you do a great job at a gig, and how to make sure that when you've finished it, the client's happy, so hopefully they will book you again. If you want to see more videos like this in this kind of real secrets type video, please let me know, and let me know down below what you'd like me to do it on. It could be a private party, it could be a house party, it could be I don't know, walk around in a street magic, it could be a kids gig, it could be a family, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You let me know. If you would like me to do more of these, I will. If you think this is rubbish and this isn't the sort of thing that you want to see on Magic TV and you'd rather just know all about the latest tricks, let me know about that as well, because this channel exists for me giving the information that you want. And sometimes I have to take a shot in the dark, and sometimes I have to guess, and I have to think, well, I think this might be popular. And I'm taking a shot in the dark here. I don't know if people are going to find this interesting or not. I would find this interesting if I was watching this YouTube channel, but let me know down below. So with that all being said, we're at we've booked in a corporate gig, 90 minutes, 100 people. You're booked for 90 minutes to walk around, and you're wanting to perform to people. What do you do? What do you do from the point of view of you've got the booking, so you're going to turn up and you're going to do a good job? How does that look? Let's look into it. Okay, so first of all, it's the day before the gig, right? It's the day before the gig. I'm not going to be talking on this video about what emails to send and how to keep in touch with people. I'm not going to talk about the customer journey and what information that you should give to the client beforehand to reassure them. Let's just assume that you've had this gig booked into your diary. It's the day before the gig. You're doing the gig tomorrow. What do you do? Well, first of all, you want to call the venue beforehand. So the venue you're performing at, you want to call beforehand. Now, ideally, you should have a point of contact from the client that booked the party in with you or booked the event in with you. You should have a point of contact. And that's a really important thing to do. When you take a booking, say to the client, because sometimes the person that's booking you isn't necessarily the person there on the day. And there have been times in the past where when I've gone to a venue and it's a massive venue and there's like hundreds of different function rooms. They've got like 20 or 30 like events going on at various different function rooms, and you turn up at the reception and you're like, hey, I'm here to perform at this event. All right, what's the client? I don't know. What's the name of the person? I don't know. Have you got a phone number for them? No. And you try to ring the client that booked you, but you've got an office number and they've gone home now, and it takes a nightmare. It's a difficult thing. And I've actually, very early on in my career, I actually ended up spending half an hour performing for the wrong event. This sort of thing can happen. So when you take a booking, make sure that you've got the name of the company that you're performing for, you've got the person who's booked you, and you've got the person who's the contact on the day, right? Because then when you get to the venue, you can say, you can go over to the reception desk and you can go, yeah, I'm here to perform at blah, blah, blah's event. The point of contact is blah, blah, blah. It was booked in by blah, 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 right? You've got all that information. But so get the point of contact. And if you're working for an entertainment agency, sometimes this is the sort of thing that they don't think about getting. So speak to your entertainment agency and say, look, if possible, please could you get me a contact on the day and the company that I'm working for? Because a lot of entertainment agencies, they won't think about getting that information. And I work with a lot of entertainment agencies, and in the past they just go, yeah, just turn up at this venue and just say you're from blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, and they have no idea who I am. So get as much information as you can, but definitely get a point of contact and a phone number that they will have on the day so that you can contact them. So first of all, you ring the client, you ring the venue the day before, and just introduce yourself and say, hey, can I speak to, it's normally going to be the event manager. Depending on the scale of the venue or the size of the venue, it's going to be somebody might be allocated to working that venue. So ring them up and just say, hey, my name's Craig, I'm a magician. I've got a booking with XYZ company. They've got an event with you tomorrow. I just need to know who to speak to when I arrive. Is there a way to put me through to that person? They will appreciate this call. They really will, because the amount of times I've gone to venues and they have no idea that I'm even meant to be there. And they're trying to manage everything and they don't know I'm meant to be there, or they've got me down for a completely wrong time, or they think I'm doing a stage show and I'm doing strolling, or they think, even worse, I'm doing strolling, I'm doing a stage show and I've got to get there way beforehand to set up, and they need to organise parking for me because I've got a van full of illusions. You know, all of this stuff, and a lot of the time there's a miscommunication between the client and the actual venue. So speaking to the venue the day beforehand is really important, especially as if you speak to them on the day, they're going to be stressing getting ready for the venue. You're going to be much better in terms of getting an answer from them and organising everything if you speak to them the day before. So introduce yourself, say who you are, and also it's a great way to build up a relationship with that venue so that later, if you want to try and pitch that venue or get in with that venue, you've come across as very professional and very, very organised. So get as much information as you can. Make sure you've got a parking space. Make sure that you've got somewhere to get changed, all this sort of stuff. Then speak to the client. The day before, I like to ring the client. Not the point of contact on the day, the client. A lot of the time, that client is stressing and they're worried and they're concerned and there's a million different moving parts. So I'll call the client and I'll just say, hey, just wanted to let you know everything's fine for tomorrow. If they're not going to be there, I'll say, hey, I know you're not going to be there, but don't worry about it. It's going to be absolutely fine. I'll let you know afterwards how it's gone. You know, just kind of reassure them. Again, this sort of thing is very, very important. If you have got a point of contact on the day, maybe ring the point of contact and say, hey, just to introduce myself, my name's Craig. I was booked by Sylvia. Sylvia's given me your name as a point of contact. I believe you're going to be there tomorrow. My arrival time is going to be so-and-so. Shall I give you a call when I'm there? Just organisation is really important. You want to come across like the consummate professional. And the best way to come across as the consummate professional is to come across as really organised. Now, I am terrible at organisation. I'm the worst organised person in the world. So I have to I have to really try hard when I want to be organised. This is a perfect example. I've made lots and lots of notes because if I just spoke off the top of my head, I know I would miss a ton of stuff. So come across as organised, come across as super professional. Speak to the client, speak to the point of contact, speak to the venue. Make sure that everything is okay, because there's many, many times it's smaller venues where I've explained to the client I'm going to need a parking space, and I've gone to the venue and they're like, yeah, nope. There's no parking space. And then I can go back to the client and say, hey, I said you needed to organise a parking space for me. And they'll be like, oh, sorry, I forgot. And I'll be like, right, if it's easy to sort out the day before, it's more difficult to sort out if you get there you know, if you're meant to get there half an hour ahead of time and you've got caught in a bit of traffic and now you're trying to find somewhere to park because it's not being organised like it was meant to, this is the sort of thing that can make you run late. It's even worse when you're doing a stage show. But when you're doing strolling, it's not so bad, but still you need to make sure that you're organised with all of that. Then what I'll do is, if I've got a mobile number, which I should have for the point of contact, when I leave to go to the venue, I'm going to text that client and just reassure them. So I'm just going to drop them a text saying, hey, it's Craig here. Just so you know, I'm on my way. I should be there at blah, blah, blah. So I text them upon leaving wherever I'm going from. And I want to arrive early. I always aim to arrive at venues early. I always, for a strolling gig, I tell them I'm going to get there half an hour ahead of time. Realistically, I'm going to try and get there an hour ahead of time just because I don't want to be stressed. I want to be more chilled out about it. I'm going to try and get in, grab a drink, so on and so forth. So then when you get to the actual venue, you want to liaise with the venue. They should know who you are because you spoke to them the day before. And then when I get to the venue, I'm like, hey, my name's Craig, I'm performing at XYZ event. I'll probably know the function room. That's the thing, a lot of the time, the client that books you, especially if you're being booked through an entertainment agency, they won't tell you the function room, the name of the room that you're in. They'll just say, oh, it's this venue. By calling them the day before, you'll know what room that you're meant to be in. So when I go to the venue, I can walk straight into reception and say, hey, my name's Craig, I'm performing for this company. I believe it's in this venue. I spoke to so-and-so yesterday, and they told me that that was the case. Can you just confirm it is? Because you want to make sure that things haven't changed. I've had it where things have changed literally overnight. So you don't want to be, going to the wrong place. And then I will speak to the point of contact. So then I'll say, my point of contact is John Jeremy. I believe. Can you tell me where John is? Is he here yet? Because I could call him, but it's nice to actually just, if they go, oh yeah, he's in the room right now, he's setting up, I can go, right, brilliant. Boom, I'm in. I can speak to this guy. I can speak to him. I can say, hey, how you doing? We spoke yesterday. My name's Craig. If you want to call him beforehand, that's fine. If you want to call him on arrival and tell him or her that you're there, that's absolutely fine. But that's the first port of call. Before you do anything else, before you go and get changed, before you set your tricks up, before anything, go and speak to the point of contact. Now, I know some magicians will like to leave their stuff in the car, and that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. A lot of the time I can't do that. Excuse me, because I can't drive. So I've probably public transported it over there. But I even if I did drive, I'd still take my stuff in. So I'll take a case in with me. I'll have everything with me that I need to go. So I'll have the whole thing. Now, I will have probably tried to organise a room to get changed. 9 times out of 10, I've organised that room. Sometimes I haven't, in which case I'm going to be, getting changed somewhere else, like a disabled toilet. That can happen sometimes. But I'll know that ahead of time. I'll have organised that ahead of time. Anyway, I go to speak to the point of contact. I've got my bag with me. I've got everything I need. And I'm going to ascertain a few different things. I'm going to confirm how many people are at that event. I'm going to confirm where they're going to be, which rooms they're going to be in. Remember, this is a strolling gig. So they could be spread over a couple of different rooms depending on the venue, the size of the venue. I've had venues in the past where they've organised an entire section, but also an outdoor section. And I've also had venues in the past where there's an outdoor section, but other people could be in that outdoor section as well that aren't to do with the event. And what I don't want to do is perform for somebody who's got nothing to do with the event that I'm booked for, especially as I'm only there for 90 minutes. So I'm going to be speaking to them. I'm going to be like, right, okay, so you've got me doing strolling magic. And because it's also the point of contact and it's not the person who booked me, I'm going to confirm what I'm doing with them. So I'm going to say, right, okay, you've got me here doing strolling magic. I'm going to do 90 minutes. If you need me to do a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. But I'm booked to do 90 minutes. So I'm going to be mixing around, strolling around, going from group to group, performing to one group to another group. So what I really need from you is to know where you want me to be. Where are the people going to be? Where are they going to be standing? Where are they going to be? Is there a particular area that you want me to be in? When are the people arriving? I need to know all of this. I want to know when they're arriving. I want to know which door they're coming in from. I want to know if there's something else going on. Is there another entertainer? Oh, there's a caricaturist. Okay, brilliant. There's a caricaturist. Is there going to be a band? Yes. How noisy is it going to be? All of this information I want to know. I don't want anything to be a surprise for me. It's one of the reasons they get there early and I speak to the point of contact early, because I want to know all of this stuff, right? So I now know everything I need to know about the event. The point of contact is happy. They've seen me. Brilliant. Absolutely no problem. I know where the people are coming in. I know where they're coming from. I know what's happening. I know if there's something else going on. I know if there's other people that are going to be around that aren't to do with this event. I know if they're going to be outside. I know where the person in charge wants me to actually stand, or what their goals are with me being there. A lot of the time when you speak to this point of contact, they're going to be like, I don't know, just walk around and do magic, because they've got a million other things going on and you are a small part of everything that they're trying to organize. So you don't want to take up too much of their time, especially with close-up magic. It's a different situation if you're doing a stage show. If you're doing an illusion show and you're like the main act and you're making the CEO appear before an awards dinner or something, that's a different situation, and we can talk about that in a different video. But with close-up magic, you are a very small cog in normally a very big event. Not always, but that tends to be the case. Now I'm going to speak to the hospitality manager. And I'm going to speak to the hospitality manager about what's going on during the period of time that I'm going to be there. So I need to know, right, so what's going on at this point? Are you going to be bringing canapes out? And if you, because I need to know this, because if they're bringing canapes out, when I do my walk around, there's a very good chance that I'm not going to be able to do stuff where they're holding on to things, because they're going to have a canapé in one hand and a drink in the other hand. So unless there's lots of tables dotted around, I'm going to have their hands full, in which case I need to adapt the magic that I'm doing to the fact that their hands are full. And that's the other thing you need to check. Are there lots of tables nearby? And are those tables designed for people to put their drinks down on? Can I use them to, is there going to be room on those tables to put a pack of cards down or something, or a chop cup or so on and so forth? Or is it going to be full on walk around where there's no tables at all? I'm going to be doing things in spectators' hands. Also, what are the acoustics in the room like? How noisy is it going to be? Am I going to be able to do kind of more patter-based routines, or I'm going to have to keep it quick and visual? What are they expecting out of me? Are they wanting me to go around everybody? Am I trying to hit 100 people in 90 minutes, in which case I'm going to have to hustle? Sometimes you'll get booked and they'll ask you to do a particular type of magic. Just last week, they were like, can you do tech-based magic? Yep, no problem. So I'm doing tech-based magic. Next week, it's like, can you do kind of pickpocketing? And so I'm going to be doing pseudo pickpocketing and watch steals and that sort of thing. So it's really important to understand exactly what this point of contact wants. It's important for you to know what they want, because they're going to be appraising you going back to the person that booked you. And if you're doing something that they think is not what you should be doing, then that's a problem. So you want to hear directly from that person. But also, as I say, with the hospitality manager, is there going to be drinks? Are there going to be canapes? Are there going to be food? What else is going on in terms of hospitality? Now, when you're doing a table gig, when you're doing a banquet gig, that's even more important, because you need to know the order of service, because that way you can plan which tables you're going to first. But when you're doing a strolling gig, it's important to know, like, how many servers are going to be there, how many times they're going to go round. You know, that sort of thing is very, very important. So speak to the hospitality manager about the order of service. Okay, yeah, the next question that one other thing that you want to speak to about the point, with the point of contact, you want to speak to them about, are there any particular people that you need to specifically make a fuss about? So are there VIPs there, or is there senior management there, that, you know, a board of directors, an MD? A lot of the time you'll find that there's somebody who loves magic, and that person they want to make an extra special fuss of. Can you do something special for them? Not all the time. Sometimes you're just a box tick. Sometimes when you go to especially strolling walk around corporate gigs, you're a box ticking exercise. It's not like a private party where you are literally the act that's entertaining all of their guests. There's normally a million things going on, and you're just somebody who, you know, right, we've got a magician, tick, you know, but not all the time. Sometimes there's going to be, you know, like somebody in the organization, and they're like, yeah, we've got our director of sales, our international director of sales from America. He really needs to be looked after. Can you make sure you do something special for that person? Yes, absolutely, not a problem. So there's that as well. Sometimes when I'm doing walk around, maybe not with 100 people, but with less people, I'll organize a big trick to perform to everybody at the end. And I'll speak to them about that at that point. I'll be like, look, do you want me to do a big thing to everybody at the event? Do you want me to, like, finish off by doing, like, a really big performance to absolutely everybody, because I can do that if you want me to, and I'll give them that option. It's all about giving people option. It's all about letting people know that you are so super easy to work with. That's really important. Right, okay. So what I have here is be in the location early. So when you've actually, got to the actual venue, go straight to the location, speak to the hospitality person, the hospitality manager, speak to the point of contact. Then you want to go and get all of your tricks sorted. So if you've been given a room, that's where you're going to go and you're going to get all your tricks sorted. You're only doing 90 minutes. You want to try and avoid constantly going back to that room. I make sure I've got enough stuff on me that I can just literally go and go and go. That's why reset is important. That's why doing, tricks, what you can do again and again and again, or they have multiple routines with that trick. That's why things like focus are really good, and mind blocks and things like that, because you can do multiple routines with the same thing. And I've actually put here, with 100 people in 90 minutes, don't take too long per group. What you want to do is you want to try and get around everybody, because the feedback that you get from the people that are watching the magic will impact whether you get booked again. And a lot of people think, well, if I just go in and I just do a good job and blow people away, that's all I need to do. Well, no, if you're the person that's, they will speak about everything afterwards, especially at a corporate event internally, people will speak. And if everyone enjoyed the magic, but then you get a bunch of people coming up to the person that's organised it and went, well, I never got a chance to see the magician didn't come to me, I didn't get a chance to see the magician, it doesn't look very good on you. So you want to try and get around as many people as possible. I hustle when I'm doing an event like this. I will literally hustle. Now, earlier on booking, I probably would have tried to get them to book 2 magicians. But if I'm there on my own and I haven't been able to get them to book 2 magicians, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to try and get around as many people as I can. My goal is to try and get around everybody, even if I have to stay around a few extra minutes afterwards. And I've put here, don't do long reset. This is not the sort of gig where you have to do long resets. Anything that even requires the smallest reset, I probably wouldn't do in this sort of event, because I want to be able to get straight into the next table, straight into the next group, straight into the next group. So I'm going to be taking coins with me, because coins are a great thing to take. I can do a lot of stuff with coins. I'm going to be taking, you get the idea. You don't want to have any reset at all. So make sure the stuff in your pockets is the stuff that you can do, and you can reset very quickly. I've also put down here, don't do the same tricks over and over. Now, this is only my opinion, but the other thing that I personally think is, I know there's magicians out there that do the same set, and they just do the same set over and over and over and over and over again, and that's fine. If that works for you, that's cool. From speaking to so many clients, one of the reasons that we get booked again and again is because everybody talks about what they've seen and everybody sees something different. I don't do the same tricks to each group of people. Everyone sees something different, and that just comes from having a fairly big repertoire. Because I've got a fairly big repertoire of tricks and there's a lot of different stuff I can do, I can literally do 90 minutes and not repeat a trick once, and not have too much stuff in my pockets. And that's honestly, in my opinion, what you should aspire to, because you can use that as a sales pitch when you're speaking to people. You can say, look, you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to try and make sure everyone sees something different. Because then when you're speaking about it later on, and I guarantee you will be speaking about it later on, and everyone's talking about what they've seen, they're all going to have seen something different. The magic continues long after I've actually left the actual event. And the memories will remain forever. So I try to make sure that I don't do the same tricks over and over. I'm going to try and make sure that I've got multiple set lists, multiple tricks that I can do, props that will do 4 or 5 different routines that are very, very different to each other. All this sort of stuff is very important. And what I've got down here is there anything else? Yeah, so what I've got down here is I've said, be aware of the performing conditions, full hands, etc. So that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. When you get to the event, find out, you can have a good educated guess based off speaking to people what the event is going to be like. If you know that everyone's going to have full hands, you're going to be doing stuff where you're kind of doing think of a card and things like that, invisible deck, stuff where their hands aren't in play, and you can make it as, and that's why when I take a close-up case, I've got everything in there, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing until I get to the event, until I've spoken to the client, until I've looked at the environment in which I'm performing in, until I've looked at all of that. I'm not going to know the tricks I'm going to do. I'm going to take the tricks I'm going to do based on what I think is best for that environment. And the full hands thing is a perfect example of that. Finally, at the end, and I can't believe that this is a thing, but the amount of times I've actually seen this happen both within my own company and I've seen other magicians do this. Make sure you go out of your way to say bye to the client. I know they're going to be busy. I know there's going to be things on, and I know that sometimes it's not the easiest thing. You get to the end of the 90 minutes and you've got to find a client and they're nowhere to be seen. And so it's easier for you to just go, I'm just going to leave. But it's nice to take the extra 5 minutes and track them down. And even if they're busy, just go, hey, thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you booking me. Thank you very much. Boom. Say bye to the client. Very, very, very important. Because you want to have that finale right there. You want to have that moment where you say bye at the end and you move on, because then they're going to remember that. They really do. We got a complaint in my entertainment company through from a customer who thought that the entertainment was brilliant, but they were very, very disheartened that when the entertainer left, they left without saying goodbye at the end. And I'm sure they had a really good reason, and I'm sure it would have been very easy for them to go and not say, but clients remember this sort of thing. And then the other thing that I do is I use this app, and this is the best app. If you got to the end of this video, this is the biggest marketing tip I can ever give you. I use an app on my phone called TouchNote. So TouchNote is a free app that you can download, and then you put credits on TouchNote, okay? And what it allows you to do, and it's available all over the world, but what it allows you to do is within the space of 2 or 3 minutes, it allows you to create a postcard or a card, but I prefer postcards. It allows you to create a postcard which you can send first class to anywhere. You just put the address in, you put the person's name in. So what happens is you select the postcard, you then select the images that you want to use on that postcard. You can have one big image, or you can create montages of various different images, and then you create a text on the back of the and it'll print it on there in sort of a handwriting type font, and then you put the address on there as well, and the address can be pulled in from your CRM. So what I do a lot of the time when I'm working a corporate, a lot of gigs I do this, to be perfectly honest, I'm going to get photos of me performing at this event. And this is not the video to talk about how to get photos, but I'm going to get some selfies with people that I've performed for. I'm going to, if I see somebody taking a couple of pictures of me while I'm performing, I'm going to say, can you airdrop those over to me? There's various different ways of getting photos. We can do a video on that at some point in the future, but when I finished a gig, I'm going to probably have about 5 or 6 photos, maybe even more. I'm going to just very, very quickly before I leave, I'm just going to select photos. I'm going to create a postcard with the photos of me at my gig, at the gig I've just done, and I'm going to put in there, hey Donna, whoever booked me, hey Donna, thanks very much for booking me. I really appreciate it. Everyone had a great time. Please remember, I'm here again if you need me in the future. Say hi to Blah for me, and Blah will be the person who's the point of contact on the day. Then I put their address in, I hit send. That will be with them in the next day or two, delivered directly to them. And then I can forget about it. Now, I'm still going to send them an email as the following day, because it's all automated, saying thanks for booking me. Here's a feedback form. I'm going to do all of that automatically. But imagine it from the client's point of view, especially if they're booking a magician they've never booked before, and you're trying to make an impression with them. They've not been there, or even if they have been there, they get this postcard dropped through, and they look at the postcard, and it's just like, pictures of me performing at their event, pictures of people having a great time, and then you turn it over and you go, thanks for booking me for the event. People keep that. They bear that in mind. That is going the extra mile. From my point of view, it's only cost me a few pence and 2 or 3 minutes before I leave the event. But the memory that it creates on the client lasts forever. And I know that I work with a big entertainment agency that gives me a lot of work, like a lot of work. It's one of my best clients. And I got in with that company by covering a gig that they had been let down for. And I did this, and they had the postcard, and they rang me back and they said, we really appreciate the postcard. Thank you very much. And after that, a steady stream of gigs arrived my way. And now I do all of their entertainment for their kids' parties through my kids' company. And I also have so many gigs come through, slightly unusual as well, again, for them. And it's all because I've built a relationship with them. And that relationship started by using TouchNote. It is a fantastic app. And if you're not using it, you are insane, because it takes a few pence or a few cents. It takes a couple of minutes, and it's going to create a lasting impression and really start that step towards building a relationship with that client and with that company. Yeah, there's nothing else I can tell you about the real secrets of working a strolling corporate gig. That's it. Just work hard. Just go in and make sure that everyone has a great time. That's the most important thing. Go in, make sure everyone has a great time, make sure everyone enjoys themselves. Remember to hustle. Remember to get around everybody. Don't be that person that spends 25 minutes with one group and hardly anyone gets seen. You want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see you, or as many people as possible. And then there's one other piece of advice I want to give you, which is Chris Dugdale talks about photo moments. I don't think he calls it photo moments, but basically it's the concept of somebody could take a picture of you at any given time. So you need to constantly be thinking about how you look if someone takes a picture of you. So if you're there at a corporate event and you walk away to reset your trick, and someone takes a picture of you there, that does not look good if that client sees that picture. However, if you're constantly working and you're constantly thinking about what that picture will look like if someone takes a picture, then you're going to create some amazing moments. But it's all about thinking that through. Think about, eliminate any moments in your period of time that you're there where if someone took a picture, it would look bad on you. Constantly be working, constantly get around as many people as possible, be the life and soul of the party, be fun, make it energetic, and you will get bookings again and again and again. And you know, as a professional magician, this is the fun part. Doing the admin, doing the accounting, doing the sales, doing the marketing, that's not the fun bit. The fun bit is actually going out and doing what you do best, and the reason you became a professional in the first place. So go out and have fun, enjoy yourself, and that's the way that you get more bookings. That is the real secret behind working a corporate strolling gig. So there you go, guys. I got nothing else to say about that. Thank you once again for joining me on Magic TV. Now, two things. First of all, would you like to see more real secrets? If you would, let me know in the comments down below. This is a new thing that we could start up, and we could do it in kind of a semi-regular basis. Let me know if you want to see another one in the future. Outside of that, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And finally, if you haven't already done so, and I know a lot of people have, but go check out The Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians, and it's available immediately. You can go check it out and see what all the fuss is about. I will see you again. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.